What's happening, everybody? We welcome you back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. I'm Christian Pedersen, joined as every week now we are this football season by Raymond Brown from San Diego Football Network. He's one of the best around doing it. He's got to check everything out that he's doing, high school, college, and professional level, all focusing on the great stuff here in San Diego. We talked to him about the high school stuff. Behind me, I just finished recording the PPR podcast, which is a weird twilighty crossover that we've reached the point where I'm back on PPR after being canned from PPR. So forgive me for the cross branding in the back. I'm too lazy to change it. We run a fun ship here. Raymond, let's talk about, I got a topic for you from last week, and then let's talk about some games coming up this week. From last week, we have now finished 5 weeks of football. I think technically the season is 12 weeks, but 5 is halfway on a lot of teams' games. Not a ton of undefeated schools. We've got Lincoln, Carlsbad, Brawley, Kearney, Army Navy. Trying to look through here. I think is that Granite Hills, Helix. Looking for the rest of my notes here. I think that's all of them. But it's kind of crazy. Like we're talking about usually there's 8 or 10 teams, even because some of the ones down at the lower levels are just starting to run through it. So do you like any of these teams' abilities to run the table? Do you have a favorite of these undefeated teams? Do you think all of them are going to go undefeated? What in general do you think about who is left having a perfect season?
It's going to be tough because 3 of these teams look like open. Well, 4 of these teams look like open division contenders. 2 of these teams are going to play each other later on in the season, which is going to be an epic game between Helix and Granite Hills. I can probably see either Army Navy or Kearney running the table. Army Navy is just fantastic. They got so many kids playing at a higher level than they are. They're supposed to be 5AA. I don't believe it one bit. So I can see those 2 teams going just because they're not in a tough division, as if like Lincoln can run the table, but they got to face Carlsbad probably in the open. Probably got to face Helix in the first round.
Yeah,
so that'll be a tough one to call.
The purpose of this conversation, let's talk regular season run the table.
Got you.
No, and it sometimes is a football hair that some people like to say a perfect season is you got to make it all the way through. I feel like the playoffs are just so random sometimes that you got to give teams a little bit of wiggle room on at least this version of the discussion.
Okay, I got you. Well, I want to say Lincoln, but they still got 2 tough games coming up between Madison and Cathedral. But the way Lincoln is playing right now, they look like they can run the regular season undefeated. I mean, they got one of the best defense I've probably seen in high school football in a long time. Their linebacking core is amazing with Jerome Roberts. Then he got Makai Venezuela on one side, and he got Manir Caso on the other. And great line, talented DBs. But that linebacking core is probably one of the best in the whole county. They just shut out Cajon, who was doing a lot of talking, but not a lot of backing it up. So, I like Lincoln to run the table if they could get past those 2 tough games with Madison and Cathedral.
Well, and certainly with Granite and Helix playing each other, one of them will not end the season undefeated unless somehow that ends in a tie, which, okay, that would be weird. So some of this is going to take care of itself, but this feels kind of like from maybe where in the early part of the season we were discussing, wow, top heavy, there's so many good teams. Has this ended up being a year of a little bit more parity than other years recently, or is football just such a random sport that schedules and grades and stuff, it all just kind of lines up that 10-0 doesn't really actually mean all that much if you don't, like you said, end up fully running the table to win a championship?
Well, it depends. I mean, some teams schedule harder than others. Some teams, they got a soft schedule and that 10-0 don't look so good. But Lincoln, they just stack their schedule like out of conference, and they have a tough league. You got teams like Carlsbad, can't forget about them. They're going to have a tough outing in the Avocado League. Even though I got them winning it, it's not going to be easy. They still got Mission Hills, El Camino. So some of these leagues are really tough, and some of these teams, they schedule out of league just to prepare for these tough leagues. So, yeah, man, a lot of parity, a lot of surprises. The ball doesn't always bounce a certain team's way, but that's just what makes the game fun. Every dog has his day.
People fail to realize this is the only sport where the ball's not round.
exactly.
Like, there's some stuff where you're just like, oh, that should have been a field goal. No, that shouldn't have been a fumble. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is a randomizing generator somewhat. Okay, so you like, it seems, maybe 4 teams to make it all the way through undefeated. And I think that would then set up, obviously, because Carlsbad and Lincoln are going to wind up in the open, that would then set up Kearney as the D5 favorite and Army Navy, excuse me, bad slip there, Army Navy as the 5AA favorites. I know we didn't show prep on this, but right now, let's do 2, 3, and 4. Do you have a favorite in those divisions at this point?
Division 4, I'm still going with Mount Miguel. They took a tough loss to they took a tough loss to Bishops, but I think they're going to learn from that. And I think they're going to bounce back heavy.
Okay.
As far as Division 5, I like Kearney.
Yeah. So 2
Brody,
and
2 and 3.
Yeah.
Let's see. Division 2 is crazy. They're real stacked. Well, I like it. Division 2. I mean, Bishops was impressive. I'll give it to them.
Can I say that in D2 right now, what I'm kind of looking at, and I don't know if this is going to happen or even could happen, but we could hypothetically, based off they've both looked pretty good, we could wind up with the Bell game, the Brawley versus Central rival being played as the Division II championship. And that to me would be insanity to have
that would be awesome.
A shut down the town type rivalry game as the Division II championship.
Yeah, good luck getting into that game. Out there, those games are packed. They be having like 10,000 people at those games, standing room only. They really love that game out there in Imperial Valley. So to have that as a D2 championship would be insane.
And this is not to disrespect Del Norte or Bishops or Oceanside or La Jolla or anybody in this branch.
I forgot those teams were in D2. Those are more. Wow.
La Jolla teams could very easily make the D2 championship. D2 is exciting. But folks, I want to put this out into the universe that, like I said, if we end up with, Brawley's only loss of the season is to Central, or Central, one of their 2 losses of the season is to Brawley, they both get a home seat, higher side of the bracket. Get out of here. That would be an all-time. Yes, we want that as a San Diego section. In Division 3, I'm going to just say I go Palo Verde Valley, and then I shut up because I've stuck my foot in my mouth enough with them. But is there anyone in D3 right now that you like as your favorite halfway through the season?
I also like Palo Verde Valley. I still like Grossmont. I think that rematch would be interesting. I think it would be a lot different than what we saw a couple of weeks ago. So I like, Palo Verde Valley and Grossmont.
I think Mission Bay still looks really strong at 4-1.
Yes. El Cap still looks pretty good, even though they took a tough loss. But I still like El Cap. They got enough talent to make some noise in that division.
All right. Well, let's talk then about games coming up this week. And again, if you want to find anything that Raymond's doing, you can check him out at San Diego Football Network, high school, college, pro stuff. He's one of the best around, deserves all of your support. Please go show him you love him by giving him a follow. What do you want to talk about for games coming up this week, Raymond?
The game of the week is Madison at Granite Hills. This is going to be a tough one for Granite Hills. Madison just took a couple of tough losses. I think they lost to Helix a couple weeks ago, but they're still a great team. They're still like on the cusp of being an open division, but they still got some tough teams they can put on that resume. But yeah, that's going to be a good one at Granite Hills. I also like I want to see how Mount Miguel responds to their loss. They got another tough Division II team that hasn't won yet in Rancho Buena Vista. I'm really interested to see how they respond and if it's going to be the same type of deal, the stronger D2 team that hasn't won yet, taking it out on the D4 team that's probably higher than D4 still. And another game I like is St. Augustine at Mater Dei. People, I don't understand. Mater Dei has stacked their schedule. They opened against Cathedral, Carlsbad, and Lincoln. How many teams ain't going 0-3 scheduling those 3 out the gate? So I still want to shoot Mater Dei some bell. I know they had a tough outing against Point Loma. They didn't blow them out the way I thought they would, but they still have a chance to prove something here against a great Saints team that's been playing great. That's been playing awesome. Had Granite Hills on the ropes. They have one of the best run games in the county with Will Flores and company. So I like those three matchups. Might not be the most intriguing matchups of the week, but those are three that I'm looking forward to.
And that's why we have you here, is because what intrigues you intrigues us as a football consuming audience. I wanted to tag on there that modern day one, we talked a week or two ago in the show about how every Granite Hills game is a must watch. I want to label every modern day game now has also become a must watch to me, because I just want to figure them out. They could be one. There's always a team every other year, every couple of years, where you're like, hot damn, that's the best 2-8 team that I've seen in a long time, if ever. They just don't have enough, firepower to beat the very, very best in the county. So whoops, no, like, it's not an insult. They're just not the best. And like you said, they schedule insanity. If modern day winds up 4-6, but shows us a couple of moments where they can build on that into the playoffs, look out, man.
Well,
that's like a road dog that's a road doggy that you absolutely take to the bank. If they have some games, like you said, the Point Loma one, I think a lot of us are like, okay, if you've got it now, hit the gas pedal, show us what you got. So I'm with you that they're not showing it, but that's why they're still a must watch to me, because I want to see if they ever will show it, or if they're just not elite this year. And that's not a knock. That's just a scheduled elite. They're just not elite. A lot of young kids, some playing time, and they rebuild.
The talent is there. I mean, Isaiah Buxton, he's playing well on both sides of the ball. Cartel Purtis looking like he's going to be the quarterback of the future. It's just they lost a lot, man. They lost a great coaching staff. They lost some great players, starting quarterbacks over at USD now, Dom Nankill. So they're rebuilding, but they're doing it in a tough manner. They're scheduling the tough teams. And lucky for them, this year, the Metro Mesa Conference doesn't look that tough. It looked like they can just run through that and win another league title and hopefully be ready for Division I playoffs.
Yes, they certainly don't have someone lurking those last 3 or 4 weeks to get them. A couple of games that I'm interested in this week. Crawford hosting Scripps Ranch is going to be a really interesting one. I don't know how many times those two teams have played. It feels like those don't cross paths a ton. Crawford trying to move up in the division, so having to schedule harder. This is a game where you give them a lot of respect for it. They had basically an unintended bye last week with Castle Park not being able to field a team. So they get a win. They moved to 4-1, not saying that they wouldn't have beat Castle Park, but when you then, you're like, hey, we got everybody a little bit healthier. We got a week off. This could be a really tough game for Scripps Ranch, or this could be a game where we go, hey, look, the division thing is, there's still a little couple of separations apart. So I'm definitely paying attention to that one. I'm watching Bishops because I want to know, was what we saw a down game for Mount Miguel? Was it the beginning of Bishops being better because Cash Herrera is starting to figure it out as a quarterback? So, the impact and fallout from that loss is going to be a couple of weeks, but yeah, we really want to watch it on both the Bishops and the Mount Miguel end. Up and down, Army Navy versus Country Day is a really interesting one to me, because I think this will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, tests remaining on Army Navy's schedule. And they're one of the undefeateds that we talked about earlier in the show. So it's definitely one that we're paying attention to here at Prep Insider. Looking up and down here, I think that was most of it. The other one that I'll throw out is every week Bonita Vista gets a must watch for me now, because at 4-1, why not? I'm interested. I will absolutely buy a ticket to the Bonita Vista hype train at this point in the year. Raymond?
Yes, I love the way. I love the way Bonita Vista is playing. Great game. What's that running back's name? I'll get it, but he's playing amazing. Bishop, Bonita Vista, they're one of the teams that are sneaky. They've struggled for some season. They got their own little stadium now. They're playing great. Dakari Roberson, their corner, is amazing. Ada Tannehill, yeah, he's having an amazing season. Sorry, I forgot his name, but it's all good.
Never apologize.
Yeah, Dakari Roberson, he's a great corner. They don't hardly target him. He hardly gets any stats because he could take it to the house on you if you don't watch out. So I like what I see from Bonita Vista. I think they can make some noise in the playoffs.
Love it. Raymond, thank you as always for joining us. Reminder, everybody, go check out and support everything that he's doing at San Diego Football Network. He's got the top 23 and 23 every week. He's got great games, photos, videos, all that kind of stuff. Raymond, anything big coming out this week that people need to look forward to?
Top 23 and 23, man. I'm looking for the 23 best players, some honorable mentions, and I'll probably have that today or tomorrow. And I'll be at some game. I don't know which one yet, but expect some highlights Thursday night or Friday night.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Go support Raymond and everything he's doing. He supports us. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.